So hello to all the beautiful souls who have recently joined my channel. My name is Natalie and I have been teaching and practicing tantric meditations and practices for the past 10 years, and I mainly do sessions with men who want to work on their sexuality from an emotional point of view when they realize that fixing, whatever isn't working through the physical body alone isn't enough. And so those are the sessions I do with men. And I also have a group that I do in my house once a week where a group of men talk about their issues and their sexuality and the meditation that they're doing and the inner work that they're doing. And yesterday we were talking about masturbation, and there was one guy and he was saying that he uses masturbation with porn whenever he's angry or frustrated or, pissed off at the world. He'll go and he'll masturbate, and then when he ejaculates, he feels this kind of like release, and then he's not angry anymore. And on one hand, this helps him to deal with the anger and whatever issues he's dealing with in life. On the other hand, it's not really helping him deal with these issues. It's just giving him a momentarily release, in that moment. But then an hour, 2 hours after, he's angry again, and it doesn't actually help. And sometimes he said it actually makes him angrier than he was before. So I don't know if a lot of you also do that, like feel angry, frustrated, all these negative emotions that you don't know what to do with the emotions. You don't know how to contain them. And in order to kind of make them go away, you masturbate. When I talk to him about this, I try to explain, like anger is one energy and sexual energy is a different energy. So, the best way to deal with anger would be to masturbate on the emotion of anger and scream and yell and cry and not abuse your sexual energy in that way, because that's not what it's meant for. And then we were talking about, general obsession that he had, and there are a lot of men here, there were about 6 men, and he was talking about this obsession that he has with masturbation, and he's doing it every day, and he's watching porn every day, and it frustrates him and it pisses him off, but he can't stop doing it. And a lot of the men resonated with that. And these are like good, ordinary, loving, compassionate men. And I'm biased because I love men, but the men that participate in the meditation group that I do, they're all amazing men. And then suddenly you discover like they have these obsessions, they're addicted to porn, they can't stop masturbating, and these are the topics that we talk about. And my heart goes out to these men because on one hand they have all these negative emotions, they don't know what to do with them, and the only way that they do know how to deal with these emotions is through masturbation, but that kind of makes it worse, and then they're stuck in this endless loop. So the exercise that I gave them is what I wanted to talk about today. If you resonate with everything that I said until now, maybe we can add a tantric practice to our day-to-day that does involve masturbation, but doesn't involve ejaculation. And the point of the exercise is not to orgasm. So if this sounds scary to you because you don't want to give up your orgasms, keep on orgasming however many times or however you like to do it. And I'm going to add another practice that we can do besides the regular masturbation that can help us work in a healthier way with our sexual energy, and can also help us deal with a lot of the emotions that we're dealing with in our day-to-day life, but actually like help us deal with them and not just suppress them when we kind of release it from our body, because it's going to come back. And we want to learn how to deal with our emotions in a different way. And I think men have this instinctive desire to fix problems. And I think that's amazing. And I think everything that we have in the Western world, including the phone that I'm filming my video on today with, the light that I'm using, the house that I'm sitting inside of, like all these things were invented by men who wanted to fix problems. So I love men, and I love the fact that they want to fix problems, and I love the fact that they have the ability to fix these problems. It's amazing. Everything we have today is because of that. But when we talk about emotions, I don't think it's the same way. I don't think we should address it in the same way. We can't fix our emotions like we can fix problems. Emotions are not something that need to be fixed. They need to be contained. They need to be held. They need to be felt. They need to be released. This is not a problem we need to fix. It is something that we need to feel and go through in life as part of our human experience in this world. So what is the exercise? The exercise would begin when you're lying on your back, naked. You can be on a yoga mat, you can be on a shiatsu mat like I'm sitting on, you can just be on your bed or on the floor, on the carpet, wherever you feel comfortable. We're gonna lie there naked and start with the deep breaths. By the way, I'm gonna open a new community on this website called School, and I'm gonna teach all the breath work and everything in detail there. So once that's ready, I'll put a link in my videos, but I'm still working on it. So we're gonna lie naked on our back, shavasana, dead man pose, not moving at all, starting to breathe, and then we're gonna put our hand on our lingam. Lingam in Tantra is penis, but I don't wanna use that word anymore, so we're gonna use lingam. So we're lying on our back, naked, deep breaths, putting our hand on our lingam, on our genitals, on our penis, whatever. And we're gonna start imagining different sexual interactions that we've had, memories of sex that we've had in the past. Maybe just, imagine porn that we've watched, but we're going to use our imagination to do that. And then we're going to start to touch the lingam in a sexual way. But the goal of the exercise is not to orgasm, but to float inside the sexual energy. It's a kind of drug when you think of it, because when sexual energy is activated in our brain, in our body, it comes with a lot of different hormones that are also secreted when we do actually take drugs, but we can create this hormonal cocktail from imagination in meditation without taking anything. And that's one of the things that we learn to do in Tantra, one of the things that saved my life, and one of the things that I feel is most beneficial, gives the most in our day-to-day life, and we can use it whenever we want, but we need to start practicing it in order to know how to use the sexual energy in a way that's going to help us feel better in our day-to-day life. So this exercise is basically to activate sexual energy as a drug, as a stimulus, as something that it's really nice to feel. And so we're going to touch the penis, but we're not going to do the regular masturbation. We're going to do like a more childlike masturbation. So touch the penis, pull it in different directions, maybe just stroke it gently, maybe press it on different points while we're imagining something sexual and activating sexual energy. And we want to reach this place of it feels like a bit swimmy, like we're in water, but it's like weird, and all these visions are starting to come up, and I'm feeling all these different things in my body. And we want to stay there for as long as we can because it feels good. Later on, if we do this practice on a regular basis, even if we're sitting with someone in a meeting or we're doing something really boring in our day-to-day life, we can go back in our memory to the exercise that we did where we were like swimming in the sexual energy, and we will feel waves of that sensation coming up even if we're in the middle of doing something else. And it can help us feel better in times where we don't feel good and we don't have an immediate way of improving our sense of being or our well-being or our emotions, or we don't have anything immediate to feel better in that moment. We can close our eyes for a second and go back to the last practice that we did, and we can actually activate those sensations and feelings in our body just from memory. But we need to do this practice. I think a lot of men, when they masturbate, it's very quick, and especially with porn, you know, you're horny immediately, and then you just touch your penis a few times and you kind of ejaculate, and everything's very like quick, fast, immediate, done. But, you know, that's not very satisfying, and it doesn't last long, and then we need it again and again and again and again. So we want it to last long, we want it to be meaningful, we want it to be real, we want it to actually help us feel better. So we want to do this exercise, if we can, on a daily basis. We're touching ourselves and raising like 30 to 40% sexual energy, and we're breathing, and we're following our thoughts and our imaginations and our fantasies, and we're following the sensations in our body, and we're just feeling good. And just stay there. Why do you want it to end so quickly? We want to feel good for as long as possibly, you know, as we possibly can. Why do we want it to finish? Why do we want it to end so quickly? Very strange, if you ask me. And I do come from Tantra. I must say that none of my advice is medical advice, and I don't know anything about, you know, the medical aspect of all of this, but I do energy work, and I've been doing energy work for 10 years with men. And I can tell you that just by doing this simple exercise, you will start to connect and feel the sexual energy in a different way. And that is the whole point of Tantra. It's taking this amazing, pure, life energy, sexual energy, and instead of using it in such a degraded and low physical form that just makes us feel worse every time, we want to start using it as we should, which is as this amazing sensation that we can feel that can help us feel good in life. And that's the whole point of Tantra. It's transmuting the way we look at sexual energy. Instead of something very physical, animalistic, in order to like release stuff from our body, we're going to start looking at it as this amazing drug that I know how to create and how to use whenever I need it. And just in general, I kind of feel it all the time. And that's being tantric. So that's the exercise. Lie naked on your back, touch yourself, imagine sexual imaginations and fantasies, and just stay for as long as you can at the 30-40% sexual energy in your body. You can do it for 10 minutes, you can do it for half an hour, you can do it for an hour. Don't do less than 10 minutes because, you know, that's missing the whole point of the exercise. But try it at home. See what it does, see how it makes you feel, see what memories and thoughts come up during the exercise. We're doing a meditation on the sexual energy, and we're using the sexual energy to get high. We all want to be high, but like a good, natural, stable high. And it might bring up childhood memories, because that is what children do. They touch different areas of their body because it stimulates all these hormones and they get high from it. So we want to go back to the original settings of our sexual energy, sexual body, sexual perspective, because that's the healthier place where we want to be at. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Please let me know in the comments if you've done the exercise, how it felt, you know, what did it do to you? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Like, what were your obstacles doing the exercise? I will talk about this more at the next videos that I upload. And if you like this video, then these are the kind of topics that I talk about. I'm a regular person who's been dealing with these topics and energies for 10 years. So I'm talking from my experience that I have with men that I work with men that I know in my personal life, and also from my personal practice and experiences. So if you like the content, please subscribe to my channel. It is a new channel, and I have been uploading videos quite frequently. So you're more than welcome to subscribe and like the video if it resonated with you. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.